G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Bonsai Works. Thought I'd start with a spring discussion. Now in Melbourne at the moment, we're having a very early spring at the moment, and it's late, well, it's just starting early September, but I think a lot of this is started a bit earlier in August. Now it's a good time to show you Japanese maples for starters. This Japanese maple, lovely tree, but I'll show you what's happening already. Now, if you look at, very important to actually start to, because this tree is in refinement stage, I want to keep getting back budding. I want to keep getting these buds to open earlier and more buds at the back and so on. So we don't want the ones at the tips to grow. Now, hopefully this focuses. Let's have a look now. You can see my fingers, so you can see the one in the middle. You see the two on the side? One in the middle, so my hands are even though my fingers are very fat, I should be able to get in and just pluck that middle bit out. Okay, really important to look at your maples now. See, I missed this one, and look what's happened. It's gone 2 times. So when something like that happens, I actually come back into the one that one right in there. Okay, so it's getting a bit late, so I've missed a couple of them. But you got to be vigilant. Again, take that middle one out. Here's a good one that's just starting. Be very careful. Do it usually 2 hands. I'm trying to hold the camera and do it at the same time. So you go through it all. See, these haven't opened yet, so you got to watch it. These haven't opened yet. You see that? Not yet. Let's see. See, this one's a really good one. Here's a really good one. That's perfect time to pluck this bit out. Okay. So it stops the elongation of the branch and forces the tree to look at getting buds behind the part where you've just plucked. I can't get my fingers in there. Got it. But you can see what I mean. Like, you've got to go through it carefully and have a look. So going through it all, there's one that's pretty early. Like, there's 2 small ones already opened. Just the one in the middle. Really good. So the Japanese maples really be on them, because it really helps with their development. If you actually start on them right now. So they're happening, only some of the branches have come up. So, like, let's have a look at some other ones, how they're going and what stages they're at. I'm going to keep going through this tree and make sure that I'm going to pluck out all the ones that don't need to come out. So let's see this side. This side's probably not there yet in some areas. Only this one here. See that middle one? It's gone. The other ones are just starting. There's one down here. So if you're really vigilant, you can really push maples along really well at this time of the year. Very important, especially on the outside, the bits on the outside. You really get into them and they won't elongate. All right, let's have a look at some others. Here's a maple that's still too early. It just hasn't come up yet. Probably in the next few days, I reckon I'll have to do this one. So this one hasn't started. Some areas of it have and some of it haven't. Now this is a trident maple, so let's have a look at the difference. This one's a really small leaf, so I'm really going to have to really be quite vigilant and take them out. With tridents, I'm not as picky. Like, I don't mind if it comes out a bit more, but with Japanese maple, I'm really wide on them. So I don't mind that the tridents have another bit. It's okay. Because they grow so vigorously, you just cut back and they should back bud. But if you do have the time and patience to go through and just nip out the terminal bud, they call them, and it helps push them back in. So this is interesting. Now, I know most of you know that I plant trident maple seedlings. So this is a tray I planted last season. And funny thing is, these are the ones from last season. What happened is, see how all these new ones, they're all sprouted this year, but I planted them last year. So they just stayed there dormant and came up this year. I got heaps of them. So pretty much they just lay dormant over the period and then just came up now. So going to have tons of these guys available in the near future. But yeah, very interesting. I didn't take it out of even this tray and the other tray. They're all did the same thing. You can see all the younger ones in there now. Now here's a trident that's a bit more advanced. It's come out a bit more, so you can see, if you really want to, you can pull these ones out in the middle, I'll get another one that didn't really work. Let's have a look in here. So you see the one that's already opened, these in the middle ones, so let's get rid of these. So you can start doing that to your tridents as well. Just stops the elongation of the branch. We don't want it to elongate too much. Keep going through it. Again, best to do it not holding a camera and doing this. This is a good example of one up here. Let's have a look. So there's two on the side open and this middle one just started to. So get rid of that. So it's a good time. This is all I do to my maples at this time of year. I don't go cutting branches anymore. I just make sure I pluck out the terminal growth if I'm around. Sometimes you even miss it. Like in a week you can not come out or not be so looking at your trees and it's out opened. So they're multiple open. So got to be on them all the time, especially if you want back budding and so on. Here's something else where this is that monster maple that I styled this year, but it's not ready, and it's getting a lot of back budding because I've cut back. Look at all the back budding in there on the trunk that I cut back. So this is really good results. You want to encourage all that, like some of these in here. See all the back budding in there that's happening? Really good, really important to have all that because this tree's quite wide. It's nice to have the back budding happening. So it's still too early. I don't really touch this at this stage. It doesn't need to be. Let it keep going. Now, here's a group of just trident seedlings I put together as a forest. Now, you see how much more advanced the seedlings are? They're really opened up and really flushing out. Now, with young stuff like this, I don't even bother pinching. I just let them grow and then do a almost hedge cutting off it. Because they'll just explode all the time. You'll be like pinch one day and you'll have to do it again the next day. But these guys, if you cut back hard, you start to get back budding all the time. See all the back buds happening along the trunk? So that's what we're trying to aim for. So this group will just keep going, grow really strongly, and then just cut back. I'll just keep cutting it back, cutting it back, cutting it back. You know, it's a nice little young group, you know, nicely put together, nice trunks, movement everywhere. But really, I'm not fussed about pinching. Just cut them back, cut them back, cut them back, and then not yet. I would wait until they've hardened off a bit more, maybe another month or two. I would start to cut back again and watch all the back budding again and again because I'll just keep growing, you know, just vigorously. Now, this little guy, he's a little trident maple that I've had for a while. Now, one thing with this is if you do pinch these guys out, it's really good because it stops them elongating. You'll keep them small and keep them going. So I'm just about to. So you can see all those little buds that I've got to take out in the middle. Once I do that, this tree's good. So this is an easy one to do because it's so small. Then I've got a nice big one behind it, which is pretty awesome, but it's got buds everywhere. And just got to go through it all and start pinching out. So it's a really good time to get stuck into this one. It's a really nice trident. All right, guys, hopefully those kind of tips help at the moment, especially if it's early spring for you, to start to pinch out the middle bud or the middle leaf that's coming out. Start pinching those out and you get nice ramification and back budding for the tree. Do obviously what you've seen is trees that are well into their, you know, past the development cycle, I should say. You're not really developing, you're just ramifying and you're keeping them, you know, more bonsai-like and getting them growing. So when a tree's in refinement, this is the time to keep refinement up by pinching out the middle bit and keep them growing well. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you next time.